today's video, we are going to talk about the ideal Amazon A+ content strategy that you want if you want to get 5 times as many sales from your Amazon traffic, whether organic or paid, than you had before. These are all key things that anybody can do. No, they're not simple. Sometimes they're not cheap, but obviously nothing that's easy and cheap in this world will get you 5 times as many sales. If you want to put the work in, put the investment in, either or, because you can easily hire somebody to do all this stuff, you'll get the sales, I promise you. Some of these are like the before and after photos. It doesn't apply to every business. I'll tell you that right up front, but nevertheless, if you were to do all these, if you weren't able to 5 times your conversion rate and you had none of this, promise you, you can come back here. Well, you can come back here and you can complain, and I'll audit your stuff myself personally, because each one of these things are so powerful individually. There's no way that you're not going to get that kind of a conversion rate bump. Because the thing is with Amazon, they want to know, are they getting a good deal? Because obviously they can buy from somebody else. And can they trust you as a company, vendor, seller, trust the product, that kind of thing. So when you have minimal information on your listing to begin with, they don't really know those two things. They have to like take a leap of faith. You don't want them doing that. There's no reason for them to do that if you just get off your lazy behind and put together the proof, if you will, of your product and how well it performs. And just saying it performs, it doesn't mean jack shit in the eyes of people anymore, because people lie all the time. You got to physically prove it to them. But the good thing is, yes, it's hard to do the proof, but because nobody else wants to do the proof, that's why you're going to get 5 times as many sales, or 5 times the conversion rate, in other words, once you've got this employed for your product listings. So anyway, with that said, I'll go through what each one of these are so you can incorporate this into your business and give you real examples of where we did this before as well, so you can kind of understand better how to apply this to your business. But nevertheless, and without further ado, I'll get directly into the list here. So first of all, first thing you're going to want to do is add an infographic to your listing. And when I say infographic, if you don't know what that is, an infographic is just a detailed graphic with, Google it for some examples, product infographics. But it's, basically where you have like a picture of your product, and then usually there's like lines that point to the product and say, this part does this, this part does this. And then also might have some cool effects, like we did this for an air filter product, and then we would show like the air coming in and then put like 99% effective, that kind of thing. That's what so you basically would want one of those regardless of what you're selling to make it look fancier. And people don't like reading as much as they like looking at graphics, which is why the infographic basically works so well, even though you say the same thing in a paragraph of text. Problem is, it's difficult to find a good infographic designer. It's not easy to put something like that together. Typically, your graphics designer who can actually do that on a freelance level is going to be $100 an hour. And it might cost you a few grand for a really good infographic, but it'll sell like a shitload of product. So anyway, you add that on there, and then you point out all the features and benefits of the product, and then you give stats on how effective it is. Increases, fish's awareness of your, if you're selling like a lure to get for fishing, for fishermen to get fish, let's say, increases bites by the fish by 237% in independent tests. So even though, and that's the type of thing you would want to also include on the infographic. So that when they look at the infographic, they basically have all the benefits and features that you need to convey on that infographic by itself, so that every lazy man who doesn't like to read gets it. Because here's the thing. Basically, everybody will look at the infographic. Very few people will read all the text. That's why you pay the money to get all this the key points, features, and benefits incorporated into an infographic to start with, and why it will basically double your conversion rates once you have one in there that's really, really good. So that's the first thing I would mention to you. Second of all, before and after. So if you got anything where the end deliverable of using this product is visual in any kind of way, you need before and afters. If you have a hair restoration product like we had, very, very simple, show before, show after. This will increase your conversion rate more in low trust spaces like that, but obviously will work in basically anything, if you will. If you got a mailbox, show it before installing, after installing. We do that type of thing. So even though there's no result per se, but you can show what it looks like after it's installed, so people can be like, wow, it looks great, and they can help better visualize what it is when they start using it, what it's going to look like in their house, on their driveway, that kind of thing. I would also recommend that as well. Influencer mentions. So we're getting into the more of the difficult stuff, but promise you, most people that don't buy from you think it's too expensive. They're going to get a better deal elsewhere, right? Otherwise, why didn't they buy from you? The best way to close the gap and to build the value, so most people, even though you might be more expensive, they think you're the best deal, is by building up the value in their eyes. And just saying on your infographic, you do this, has this benefit, it's not enough. They got to believe what you're saying as well. So you back up everything you're saying on that infographic through and by means of paying influencers to review your product, and regurgitate basically the same things. When you hire an influencer to review your product, you could say, I want you to talk about this and this and this and this. So when you say the fishing lure, by the way, will increase the bites by fish by 237%, you hire this influencer to use it, a fishing influencer, and you tell them up front that it basically increases bites by 237%. I want you to talk specifically about how much it increases bites. So you're interweaving what you say about the product and the features in with the influencer, and then the influencer just verifies that. So obviously on the A+ content, you can't really convey on a video, or you can't put a video on there unless you pay shitloads of money, which most of you guys aren't going to be paying that kind of money to have a video embedded in the content. But what you can do is have a screenshot of the video, and it could say influencer XYZ reviews product and says 237% increase in bites. Okay, and what this does is it encourages the person, without directly saying it and breaking Amazon's rules, the person to go to Google and Google search that influencer to find the full review. And if you want the full effect from this, you do 3 different influencers, niche specific influencers if you can, but if not, general influencers will work almost as good. And you put 3 screenshots on your A+ content the same way, mentioning all 3 influencer reviews. So that's basically what I'm talking about when I'm talking about influencer mentions. To get it in, and with that, yes, a bigger influencer will have more impact, but if you're tight on cash, even if you have an influencer, like if you're in the fishing space, you get an influencer with 3,000 subs on YouTube to review your fishing lure product, that's already going to be pretty good. It's not about the amount of influencers, even though that does have a factor. The more they have, the more of this will raise your conversion rates. But just the fact that it got reviewed by an influencer and things checked out, and they have at least 1,000 followers, you're going to get most of the value out of just having an influencer backing up what you said on the infographic and on the post, on the listing itself as well. So, and you obviously can get, like with somebody with 3,000 subs on YouTube, you could get them to review a product for $5,000, a video. That's because you want an actual dedicated video where they're reviewing the product. But for $5,000, you can get them a lot of times at that level to review your product, have a dedicated video. So you're not talking about a lot of money. Yes, some of you guys might be shaking your head. does sound like a lot of money, but the amount of money you're going to pay in ads to drive traffic at a page that's not optimized to convert as well as it should, you're going to throw that $5,000 away and then some anyway. So, and obviously if you don't do paid ads, you're only going to make so much money. You're ready to make good money on Amazon as you run both. And you want to be able to scale with paid ads. So why, if you want to get serious and you want to make the big dollars, you got to be able to run the ads. You got to run them aggressively. And the only way you run them aggressively is you have a really good mousetrap. You have a really good page with great A+ content. And then with that, you add this content that people wish they saw, your competitors don't have, and what you're going to have. So anyway, you do those influencer video, pay to have some influencers review your product, and then you mention it on your listing. And as a side, if you get those influencer reviews, somebody types in XYZ fishing lure review, you're going to probably pop up in the search results so that there's, because most of the people that before they buy, if you have something that's fairly expensive, let's say over even $70, they're going to check your reviews on Google too. And what you do when you pay for the influencer review is you make sure, as a part of the deal, that they have to put the name of your product and review on the title so that it'll rank for that exact search, product name and then review on Google search, so that your conversion rate on the traffic and interest you generate around that product is also as high as possible, because people that are looking for last minute reviews can always find it on Google. Furthermore, if they get to your site, okay, or they get to that review on YouTube, you can now have your other reviews that you paid for show up for the user as well. So if they see the one, they'll see the others. And by the time they see all three, the statistical likelihood they buy your product is astronomically higher at that point. So you can think of it like a funnel. They go to look at the one review, and just because they saw that one review, you can have a YouTube campaign set up to make sure that when they see that one video, that they now can see your other reviews. And then by the time they see all three, now they're ready to buy. And before all that, they weren't going to be ready to buy. So that's a fantastic way to monetize, Amazon traffic, knowing they're going to get to your listing, they're going to go to Google at some point, search for that review, and then now you have a way to market more to them on the back end. So anyway, I could go into more detail on this, and if you got real money at stake, pay for a major influencer. Somebody with over 100,000 subscribers, there's so much credibility you're going to get from that review that basically anybody who sees that review is going to 100% believe anything you say after that, because obviously they know somebody with a lot of influence like that wouldn't fuck over their audience so easily, we'll just say. So but again, if you're just starting out, I recommend just getting the small influencers to do it, make your money, then maybe reinvest into bigger influencers later down the line. Number 4, test results. Nobody does this, or hardly anyway. We had sold power tools, toolboxes. One thing that works great in that space as well is we did it with mattresses before. What you do, you simply just you buy all your competitors' products, and then you do a comparison. You show the performance of your product, speed, durability, whatever the metrics in question are for your space, compared to the other top 4 or 5 products in your space, and then you just show how your product physically performs. Okay? I would recommend putting that into a video and then putting that in your YouTube listing up top itself, just as a side. But then also with that, you can also, like with the influencer thing, you can have a thing that says, tested side by side, XYZ product wins every time with 67% more durability, 48% more speed, and for per dollar spent on a drill. And then of course, just like with the other thing, they're going to go to YouTube or go to Google and find the full review, because that's content that probably doesn't exist in the space. You paid money to create content that everybody wants to see, doesn't exist. Of course they're going to go to Google or YouTube to seek it out. They see your review, and then you can do the same thing as before, where you can have other follow-up videos show up for them after it. You know, other influencers talking about that product, and so on and so forth there, and other stuff if you wanted to. But you get the general idea, because in marketing, there's the power of sevens, and that says that you'll make more money advertising to fewer people more times than spending all your money advertising to a bunch more people but only once. Because it takes people time to take what you have seriously, your message, your company, so on and so forth. So you create this for yourself by doing that technique that I showed you, where you have the screenshot, you mention the review that's offline. You don't say go visit it, because that's technically against the rules, but you say this content exists out there, and if the content's good enough, of course, they're going to seek it out. So do a test side by side, put it in your video section, also mention it within the body of the, within the post itself, the listing itself, within the A+ content, to draw as much attention to it as possible. And then finally, awards. Find out who does awards in your space if it exists, so that you can say within your content, voted #1 air filtration product in US, what have you there. And if you're talking about a mattress that's supposed to help with back pain, like we've done that before, what you could do is reach out to doctors, chiropractic doctors, if you want to call them doctors, and say 9 out of 10. So you could say 9 out of 10 back doctors agree that this mattress and mattresses with technology like this actually will help your back if you have a sore back. Okay? Which, if you're wondering how, so the trick always is, you always see on TV like 9 out of 10 doctors or dentists, agree that Crest whitening blah 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 is the toothpaste that helps you with make your teeth whitening or teeth whiten, so on and so forth. The key thing is they only interviewed 10 dentists, and so they didn't interview all dentists out there. So if you interview 10, 9 say that it's the best product, now you could say 9 out of 10. You can also do something which they're really doing is you can interview 100. You could say, and then you could take only a sampling of 10, and then 9 out of those 10, if they recommended it, now you can still say 9 out of 10. Now that's sketchy, but that's what people are doing. But a lot of times people don't believe you. Like I said, they won't believe you, I should say. They'll believe what a doctor says. They'll believe what a judge at like a beauty contest says, so on and so forth, and then you mention what they say. So you can see the trend here. Everything that I mentioned revolves around getting other people to endorse your product, other products, other things. It might be in the mattress space, there's a review site that just does mattress reviews. Of course, you're going to pay to get a review there. So you could say voted #1 mattress in US by XYZ. You get influencers to review your product. You do your own side-by-side tests, and you put that out there. You pay any reviews authorities in your space to review your product, so you can talk about that. You pay trusted authorities out there on the market, doctors, judges, might be lawyers, whatever, to review your product, and then also mention that. By the time they see all this, basically social proof, they're sold on that product. Everything that you said in the beginning in the infographic on the benefits and the features, even though it sounded good, now they believe it 100%. Now that's why you're going to be able to make 5 times more sales. Everybody could say that they're the best air filtration product on Amazon. Who they believe is going to come down to what other people are saying and who can back it up effectively. Of course, a lot of people just buy cheap, shitty products. You're not going to get those people. But for the people who don't want just the cheapest one, that's where you're going to be able to skyrocket your sales at. So, some different ideas of how you can actually build up your listing. The best thing you could do is just say everything about it that's good in terms of why the user wants it, how it specifically benefits them, and then spend the rest of your time talking about how everybody else in the world says the same thing on why this product is good, and that products like it that use the same technology, design, what have you, is the best technology, design, whatever, for buying a mattress. You want this technology in the mattress you buy. You go that other slight angle, different angle to it as well, but you get the general idea. So you got infographics, before and afters, influencer mentions, test results and awards / reviews from review sites or other industry authorities. That's how you get 5 times as many sales / higher conversion rates on your Amazon listings from paid and organic traffic using A+ content to your advantage. I'll wrap it up with that. Hopefully that made sense. If you liked the video, I have a ton of other content on this channel about how to make money with ads. So all I do is just do ad strategy for clients all day long, and the stuff that I know that works, I give it to you on this particular channel. So if there's any channel you're going to pay attention to, this is the channel you want to subscribe to, as it's coming straight from the source, not full-time YouTubers who are just speculating. This is all I do. And with that said, you should not only consider subscribing to this channel, but I also have a blog at guaranteedppc.com/blog, where you can also find my content, my written content, as well as my written content I have over at entrepreneur.com, as I have a column there. So with that said, if you have any questions, concerns, comments about anything I covered here today, or any question you have about running online ads, since this is what my expertise is in, leave me a comment below. I get back to every single person who leaves me a comment on this channel, usually within a couple days' time. If you are looking for an ad manager who can get you more results on your ads than you have now and will guarantee and back up what they're saying, this is exactly what I do for clients. That is, the clients I work with, I guarantee them a certain amount of lift in their sales or leads on the same ad spend that they have now when they start working with me, or a variation of that. And we do not take a fee until we get you the starting results. Nobody else does that in our entire space, which shows you the quality of work and talent that I have and what I can do with clients. If you want to see if we can work together, you can reach out to me at guaranteedppc.com. I'll look over your stuff and see if it's possible for us to actually get you results on your campaigns. So the only catch is we don't work with just anybody and everybody. We got to know we can crush it with your stuff, but be happy to at least look at what you have and see if there's something there. As a side, if you aren't looking for an ad management company or ad firm to manage your ads, you want to manage them yourself, at the very least, you should see if we've worked in your space before, because if we have, we could sell you the ad templates, campaign templates, landing page templates that work for your industry. As long as you're not in the same geographic market as one of our current or past clients, you can use whatever we have for that industry and get the same results we did, of which we can tell you the results up front. So, and obviously you're going to save tons of time and money getting to the same results we got after spending a lot of times millions of dollars in ads to figure out what worked in that market. So you can also reach out to me at guaranteedppc.com if you're interested in that. You can also, as we've had people starting side businesses with the templates. If you're looking to start another business because you hate the one you're in, start it with the ad templates that work for a certain market that we've been in. It'll make, being able to make money in that new business almost a sure thing. You still got to operate your business well, but at least you're starting with an ad template that works, and you know that ads will work in that space furthermore. Anyway, if you're interested in that as well, get into e-commerce if you're not in it now, or start a lead selling business with the templates we have, you can do all that. Just reach out to me at guaranteedppc.com, and I'd be more than happy to tell you what markets we've been in. We've been in over 100 markets now in the last 10 years, and so there's a lot of opportunity there. I'll wrap it up with that though. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in my next video where we have another great strategy for you then. See you later.